Junk bonds. What are junk bonds? Can you make money with junk bonds? I had a security guard friend once that was working at the Walmart in one of the Walmarts. And this particular individual told me he made a bunch of money on junk bonds. Apparently it was like 20%. He found the companies that were, what a junk bond is, it's a company, any company that's not like Coca-Cola. It's not like, it's not a Coca-Cola stock. It's not a stock like PepsiCo, which is Frito-Lay is part of PepsiCo. It's not any stock that's a large what they call blue chip company. They have these smaller companies that are trying to do investments. And these smaller companies that are trying to do investments need to get capital. So a corporation can issue a bond. Now, are they going to pay on that bond or not? They could. Some will say probably not. But if you look at the particular company, you have to check the company out. It's not like they'll say, okay, I'm going to give you 25% on your money, or 18% on your money, or 20% on the money. Say, let's settle with the 20% idea. So I got $10,000, and I'm going to let you have this $10,000, and I'm going to buy your bond, your junk bond. So at the end of the term, if I get 20%, okay, if it's annual, if it takes 12 months or 18 months to get your money, it's 20% bond. Or whatever the length of the bond is, probably a year or 18 months, but say it's a year. So you can make 20% on your money in a year if you get the company that has a junk bond for 20%. Now, what do they want to do with this money? Okay, now if they happen to be selling, say, energy drinks, say they're a company that's, I'm not saying that you can look for a company that's energy, I'm just taking an industry. So if they happen to be producing energy drinks and they can't keep up with the demand of the energy drinks, okay, and they have to build a factory. In the factory, I don't know if it costs $2 million to build, or $10 million to build, or $5 million to build, or whatever it costs to build a factory that'll help them produce more energy drinks. And their sales keep going up and up and up, and they can't keep up with their sales. They issue a junk bond. And they figure that they will be able to increase productivity by 40%. Just picking a figure out of middle air. And they've done the research. And they say, well, if we get a junk bond and we can issue the bond, and then they issue it, and then they sell it, they sell the bond, they take the money, say they raise $20 million, $10 million, $5 million, whatever the amount of money they raise through their junk bond, they build a factory. And they're able to increase their energy drinks by 40%. And then they, with the profit that they make from the increase on the energy drinks, it can be a car company, it can be a company that wants to produce cars like a DeLorean or something. It doesn't matter. So they raise the capital and they start selling the energy drinks, and the money that they make from the energy drinks, they pay back the bond. All well and good. Now, if the government decides to close them down because they don't like one of the ingredients in their energy drink, they put too much caffeine or not enough caffeine, or they put the wrong thing in, and the government closes them down, and their lawsuits or whatever, that company closes, you don't get your money back if they close the company. So there is risk involved, but if it was an energy drink company, that's probably not going to happen, because a lot of people put caffeine in their drinks. Now, if it's it depends. Is this company that's doing the junk bonds, say they want to make, say they want to produce more golf courses, and they don't have the capital to produce the golf courses, and they make 50%, say they buy some raw land at $20,000, and once they put the golf course on it, it's worth $100,000 or $500,000. But they can't afford to buy the property, and they can't afford to do the work on it. So what you have to do is you have to look at whatever the industry, and then say they do. Say they are able to do a $10 million junk bond, and they buy some property that's for less than $5 million, and they do the improvements, and they sell the golf course for $50 million. Then they can well afford the junk bond. You have to look at every individual company and decide whether it makes sense to get involved in a junk bond. Some company, let's say it's a car sales company. Say they're very productive in selling not Lamborghinis, some car. It doesn't matter if it's a Maserati, it doesn't matter if it's Cadillac, it doesn't. So they want to sell more cars, and they want to build a second lot somewhere else. And they're very good at their job. So they issue a bond. It's a corporate bond. And then they get the money and they purchase the other property. And then they start selling cars like crazy. Okay. But now if the second location isn't all that, and between the first location and second location they can't afford to pay the bond, it's a junk bond. What can you do? You can sue them. It may be cause them to go bankrupt, and they may or may not get your money back, or you may or may not get your money back, or you may or may get the 20% or not. If they have to go into bankruptcy because they made a poor business decision using junk bonds, then again they could also issue more junk bonds to pay for the first ones. They could give a lower rate or whatever. So it's a junk bond. You can make 20% or 18% or whatever it is. You can make that high yield, but it's not a guarantee. Junk bonds can make you some money. Like I said, that friend of mine, that person I knew that was worked for Walmart as a security guard, made a lot of money on junk bonds. 20%, I think he said. So it's, you got $10,000 to waste, and you buy a junk bond that's 20%, you make $2,000. And if you keep dealing with that company, and then they may want to do that again. If they're successful one time, they might do it again and again and again, and you might make 20%, 20%, 20%. It depends on what they invest. It doesn't have to be 20%. It can be 18, it can be 13, it can be 12. But the higher the amount, the chances are the higher the risk. If you can mitigate the risk, you can make a lot of money on junk bonds. I do not own junk bonds. I have not used junk bonds. People I know have used junk bonds and have made money. It's all depending on the company. You need a financial advisor to ask about which particular junk bond that financial advisor thinks is safe. Like for instance, say you were going to start Minks, a mink coat company, and you had to buy a whole bunch of minks. And you were going to try to run that business in the United States. So you issue a junk bond. The corporation issues a junk bond, buys the property, buys the minks, and then locates it in a state like California or Nevada. Now, if they locate in a state like California, someone might close the mink factory down because you're being cruel to the way that you kill the minks and take their coats. So you could lose everything. And then if you go to a state like Texas or Nevada, Texas is pro-business, and they don't have any laws on the books that prevent you from doing minks, then you could turn that mink farm. Now, I personally would not want to invest in a mink company. I got too much around animals. I don't want to kill it. Yeah, well, you still eat steak, don't you? Well, I eat hamburger, yeah. But you can make money, but you have to really be careful about the particulars and the state that you have the business in, the taxes in that state, the laws in that state can all affect everything that you do about making money with a junk bond, and running a business for that matter. Texas is one of the best states to start a business. You can contact Texas and they can help you, and they'll try to get you to do business in Texas. Alabama, I have some friends I have a friend that's in Alabama right now, and she's wants to do some business concerning a gasoline station and convenience store. Then there's another. Nevada is better than California. The only thing California is worth doing is visiting. I've been here over about like 30 years in California at one point in my life. I've been in New Hampshire for about 20 years of my life. I've been in, I've traveled through the country, once or twice, then on planes. I've been in different places. The best place for business, to my understanding, is Texas, Florida. Nevada is better than California. California is Taxachusetts. It's just like in New Hampshire, it's on the border of Massachusetts, and they call it Taxachusetts. California, they'll tax a tax. And that's true. If you have, my understanding is if you buy some soda pop, a 2-liter soda pop or whatever it is, and there's a 10-cent CRV on that, California redemption value. Then, after you buy that, there's a tax on the CRV. Part of the tax is considered a second entity. So if the soda pop costs 99 cents, and there's a 10-cent tax, it's going to cost you $1.17 for a 2-liter. If it's a 99-cent 2-liter. Try to find those. They have 2.5 liters. Shasta does, and it's $1.17. But in New Hampshire, if you buy a 2-liter Mountain Dew, and it's 99 cents, you walk in with $1, you buy that soda pop for 99 cents, and walk out the door with a penny. In California, a 2-liter for 99 cents, the soda pop costs 99 cents, but there's a CRV on top of it, and then there's a sales tax on top of it. Part of the sales tax is taxing the CRV. Go figure, double tax. A tax on a tax. So then, it's $1.17. Now, you can take the soda pop bottle somewhere and get 10 cents for it. Unless they weigh it out, and then if you count them out, you can get 10 cents for it. If you weigh them out, you may get 10 cents, you might get 9 cents, 8 cents. It all depends. The best thing about Texas and the good thing about Nevada is that if you're really seriously looking at junk bonds, you want to make sure that wherever the company is based in a state that is more friendly to business and less friendly to business. If you have two businesses exactly the same, trying to do the exact same bonds in Texas or California, it would behoove you to talk to your financial advisor and ask him, is that a good idea to do the one in Texas over the one in California? My estimation, right, without even looking at the business, if they're exactly the same, would go support the one in Texas. Not because I don't like California. The weather is good in California. For 30 plus years, the weather is good in California. Arizona, I've been in Arizona recently, and the weather's good in Arizona. Nevada, excellent weather in Nevada. Taxes are better in Nevada or Arizona versus California. California is just out of whack. So this is for, do I want to invest in junk bonds? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on the company. It depends. You got to make sure that their earnings per share is pretty good. Okay? That they're earning money. That it's a profitable company. Some people would start a company, try to issue a junk bond, waste the money, and you never get your money. Business, every single personal business you have to look at to make sure it's going to be, if you look at their business plan and you like their business plan and you see what they're doing and you believe that it's going to make you money and your financial advisor tells you it's a good deal, it's probably okay to move forward. It may not be, because a financial advisor may or may not know what they're talking about. But if you have a general consensus and you think that you can make 20% on your money, buy a small amount of bonds with that company, or a large amount. But if you want to test the waters, you can test it with a small amount. It all depends on the company. Junk bonds, yes or no, could be yes, could be no. Have a jolly good day, and God bless America.